everyone, and welcome to the UCOOK cook-along with the Potluck Club. As you can see, I am not Jason Kosmas. I'm sorry for the anticlimax, but my name is Klaudia, and I am from the UCOOK team. I will be guiding you through this delicious potluck dinner this evening. Jason, unfortunately, cannot be joining us, but here is a video from him to send some love and good vibrations.
Hi guys, my name is Jason. I'm the head chef of the Potluck Club. Firstly, I'd just like to thank you for helping out with the donation and the relief fund for the Potluck Club on behalf of myself and all my staff. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do the cook along with you because I was exposed to COVID-19. So I've had to isolate. I'm safe, I'm healthy, and I'm well. I'm at home. UCOOK is going to be taking it over on my behalf, and cooking along with you tonight will be Klaudia. So I'd just like to thank her on behalf of all of us. Please remember, guys, the virus is still very active and it's a very serious thing, and a lot of people are very scared of it. On another note, please remember to donate towards the Potluck Club. It means so much to all of us that you guys are supporting us through all of this. And most of all, please enjoy my dish. Thank you.
And for all of us joining at home and watching, my name is Nick, your off-camera host for this evening. Klaudia, how are you feeling tonight? You ready to get cooking with us?
I am so excited to be here and to be cooking this dish with you. I just hope that I can do it justice and do the team at Potluck, the staff, the full team justice, and Jason in creating this amazing dish.
And as mentioned, tonight is all in support of the staff at Potluck. So don't forget to donate. You'll find a code in your box and on UCOOK's social media. But enough with the admin. I think it's time to get cooking. And if you do have a Devil's Peak Hero beer in your box, shout out to Devil's Peak. Thank you so much for the beverage, non-alcoholic. Pour yourself a glass, and I think we're ready to get cooking. Klaudia, can you tell us a bit more about the dish we'll be making?
Yes, Nick, we are going to be making a noodle dish, Indonesian inspired. It's with a soba noodle, which is a great noodle because it's mainly buckwheat, which is a delicious flavor. We're going to be throwing that through an Indonesian-style sauce with the crispy pan-fried trout fillet on top with slaw, edamame beans, sesame. It's just going to be delicious.
And I see you've got your beautiful ingredients laid out in bowls. Any advice for the home cooks who are about to get started?
Yes, I think with a dish like this, I think it's best to get bowls ready because we're going to be making sauce. We're going to be frying off some onions. We're going to be needing to put those somewhere. So just get a few bowls ready, get your chopping board cleared, get your knives out, and just get all your ingredients packed out of the packaging so that you have them ready for the cook-along.
Right, we're ready to go.
Okay, so first thing we're going to be doing, let's give our mint a rinse, and then we're going to pick it and set it aside for garnish. This dish is extremely layered. I think it's got about 3 garnishes, so it's going to be absolutely splendid. You can just discard the stalks and just keep the leaves aside. We're not going to cut the leaves, we're going to leave them whole so you really get those sort of bursts of mint flavor, and also so we don't bruise the leaves themselves. So we can pop those back into a little bowl or on the side. So that's the first thing. Next, let's get onto our spring onions. A great trick when cutting spring onions is you can line them all up together rather than doing one at a time. And a good trick is also to cut them at an angle so you can be a bit fancy. So we can give those a nice cut. You can slice them quite thick, maybe about 1 centimeter thick. Jason, how am I doing? I know you're watching. Big Brother's watching.
We hope Klaudia's going to do you proud this evening, Jason. And for those of you who are watching, don't forget you can send in your questions if you want to get any tips from Klaudia. If you want her to slow down a bit because she is quite a pro chef, send in your questions, your comments, your compliments, and we will read them out.
Fantastic, Nick. Okay, so our mint is done and ready. Our spring onion's ready. Now we're going to wedge our lemon, which is very simple. We're not going to be using the zest in this dish, but if you do like it a bit, citrusy and you want to increase the citrus flavor, you can zest up the lemon and throw it through the sauce when we do. But let's not change the dish too much because, the pro has created, and we should follow. Okay, next we are going to peel and grate our ginger. This is a very quirky tip when peeling ginger. You can take a little teaspoon, and instead of using a knife and trying to sort of cut off the skin and or the peel and losing a lot of your ginger in the process, you can just take the side of your spoon and just sort of, what do you call it? Massage down the side and sort of grate off the skin with the teaspoon, which is quite quirky. And then you actually, I mean, look, there's hardly any peel. I mean, there's hardly any flesh here. It's really just peel. So that is a very cool, quirky culinary tip. Okay, so I think we should do a check-in and see if everyone's up to speed, if we're going too fast. Nick, is anyone writing in?
Seems that the chefs at home are keeping up, Klaudia. So
Great.
Let's hope that they're, have earned their mettle in the kitchen.
Brilliant. So guys, so this is going to be the bowl for our actual sauce, our main sauce of the dish. So we're going to grate our ginger straight into the bowl. I also very much like grating ginger rather than slicing it because it actually becomes part of the sauce. You don't sort of find yourself biting on pieces of ginger. It just sort of becomes like a flavor component, which is great. And the ginger can get very hairy on the center. We're not going to worry about that.
While you're busy with the ginger, we have a question from Masi, who I think you may know, Klaudia.
Yes, hi Masi.
Who would like to know, when did you know that you wanted a career in food?
You know, I think it developed sort of in my teens, but I knew that I had a passion for food from a very young age. I think it was the first time I actually ate a sandwich. That was pretty much when it all started. And I ate my way through school. I mean, at the time, I was even locked out of the kitchen by my own family members. So my love of food went back to a very young age. We can take the peel and the sort of hairy ginger bits. We're not going to worry about those. We can just discard those. And we can set the ginger aside. Okay, let's give it a little clean here, and then everyone can catch up. Brilliant. Okay, so now we're going to dry our trout. So we can take the trout out of the packaging. The reason why we dry the trout and why we actually rest it on a piece of paper towel, skin side down, which is what we're going to do now, is so that we can actually draw out any moisture that's in the skin. Because when you do that, the skin will dry out and it'll make it a lot crispier, which is the end result. And it'll also just sort of enable it not to stick to the pan, which is great. So we can just press down on that a bit, and then we can set that aside until we need it. Okay, so now we're on to our spicy Indonesian style sauce. We can bring our bowl of ginger back, and we are going to add the sesame soy, sweet sesame soy, I think it is, labeled on your recipe card and on your actual sauce pocket. We're going to add that to the ginger. Then we are going to add our sambal ulek. Sambal ulek is like a sweet chili sauce. It's Indonesian. It's not as strong as using fresh chili, and it's got that sort of sweet edge, which is great. If you are averse to chili and if you've got a sort of a more sort of subtle palate, rather add less, and then later on you can always add more. But we're going to gooi. We're just going to go full throttle here.
It's all about that flavor with the dish from Jason, I think.
It was actually Jason. Jason, please can you write in and tell us? I think it was him because Jason worked at UCOOK for a few months. We were so lucky to have him. And he really just took our menus to new heights. And I think it was you, Jason, that didn't believe in black pepper and you only seasoned with chili and salt. If you can confirm that, please, because maybe I'm getting my wires crossed. But I remember that about you, and I always thought that was so fascinating. Because you got the spice from the chili, and then you got the saltiness from the salt. Okay, what's next, guys? We are going to toast the sesame seeds. So choose your pan. We are going to be using this pan to not only toast the sesame seeds, but we're also going to be searing the trout. So it'll be the same pan. So pop that onto a medium heat. And we are going to toast our little sesame seeds. You can see we've got a mix of white and dark black sesame seeds, which is quite nice because then you get the effect for garnish when you have the black and white mix. But then to tell when they are ready, the white sesame seed will go a slightly sort of light golden brown, and that's when you know. But if we just had the black ones, it's very difficult to know when they're actually ready. Okay, and we are going to boil our kettle so that we are ready to cook our noodles.
Now, Klaudia, you've been to the Potluck Club before, haven't you?
I have.
What is your favorite thing about the restaurant?
I think the Potluck is probably up there with my 3 favorite restaurants, and I will always remember, and I cannot wait to have this again, their Parmesan polenta chips. They were just on another level, and I think that they served them with a truffle aioli of sorts, but all time, one of the best things I've ever tasted.
For those of you who are just tuning in now and may have missed our introduction, we are cooking all in support of the Potluck Club tonight. So even if you aren't cooking with us, don't forget to donate. Jason and his staff are really going to appreciate it, and I think they need help now more than ever.
Exactly. Cheers, everyone.
How are our sesame seeds looking?
They are coming, but they are definitely going to take a bit of time. What I'm going to do in the meantime, I'm going to get my water into my pot. So choose your pot for your noodles. Obviously, some of you are cooking for 1 portion, some of you are cooking for 2 portions, and some for 4. So just assess the water ratio, but you don't want to have those noodles in too little water. I'm obviously cooking, I'm cooking for 2 portions. So I've filled up my kettle, and I'm going to pop the water into the pot. I'm just going to use it all. And let's get that boiling.
Well, that's on the go. We've got a question from Chantel, who has heard a rumor that your husband's on set with you.
He
and
is.
She would like to know, what is your favorite meal to cook for him?
Oh my gosh, Pete is a very lucky man because I think I cook almost every day. So I think my favorite meal is when he cooks. That is a real treat. But no, I can't be too mean because I do love cooking, and I find it very therapeutic at the end of the day, just to sort of, just let loose in the kitchen. It is my absolute best. So I say that with a bit of jest.
So you've been with UCOOK almost since the beginning. Can you tell us a bit more about how you started with UCOOK?
Gosh, it's actually quite a funny story. So when Chris and Dave were right in the early phase of UCOOK, I think then it was called the Supper Society, they needed a hand model that knew their way around an onion. And I'd been to Silwood, so I knew my way around an onion, and I got quite excited. I even got my hair done, even though they didn't need my face or my body, they just needed my hands. And anyway, and then I chopped and found out more about the company, and then they needed an investor. So then I think I just got really lucky, to be honest. I was able to invest in a very early stage, and then I've been in the food department ever since. So yeah, it's been an awesome journey.
And we're very, very happy and lucky to have you.
Oh, thanks, Nick.
Especially here with us tonight, putting a face to the name behind UCOOK and creating this incredible dish on behalf of the Potluck Club.
Yay! Okay, guys, so you can see the sesame seeds have gone a nice sort of like light golden brown color. So we're going to remove those and pop them into a little dish on the side. How's everyone doing? Do you think I'm going too fast? Is everyone keeping up? It's a very simple dish, but there's nothing worse than being behind when someone's cooking and you're trying to follow. So I'll slow it down a little bit, or you just let me know, Nick.
I will absolutely let you know.
Okay, fantastic. So while that pan's nice and hot, we are going to fry our spring onion. When we fry the spring onion, we want to ensure that the pan is quite hot, because we want to get like a slight char on the spring onion, which I love. I'm not actually a fan of raw spring onion. I find it very overpowering. So I'm very excited that Jason in this dish decides to char it and really sort of wilt it, but then also bring out that flavor with a slight sort of burn. I know there's a lot of trend is charring these days. You know, it really does bring out a good flavor in the ingredient. So never be afraid of a little bit of blackening. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of oil in our pan. And when she's nice and hot, we can add our spring onion. And then you don't want to fiddle with it too much. You sort of want to get it in a nice even layer so that you have, you know, majority of the pieces have time on the base of the pan. And then we can just give that time to sort of caramelize a bit, which is great. Now our water's boiling nicely, so we can set that aside for our noodles. So there you can see we're getting a nice little charring or browning on the onions, which is exactly what we want. Jason, how are you doing? I know that you're watching. And yeah, send us a little message, let us know how you're doing. We do miss you.
And while our spring onions are frying, we've got another question from a viewer who wants to know about what your favorite style of cooking is.
My favorite style of cooking? I think it would have to be Italian. I just love the simplicity. After studying at Silwood, I was lucky enough to work at a little delicatessen in Tuscany. And I had a very simple existence. It was only for maybe 3 weeks, but it was one of the best 3 weeks of my life because I had a little scooter and I would scoot down to the delicatessen, cook the simple food of pizzas and pasta and just, I mean, obviously there's more to it than that, but I can't quite think of it now. But amazing, amazing salads and seafood. And then I would be sort of, for siesta time, they would just give me a simple bread and some tomatoes. And then I would go home and I would just eat this like simple ingredients, but it just tasted like, you know, it was missing nothing. And I just sort of love that about Italian cuisine, that it just really heroes simplicity, which is just my best. Okay, so where should I put these spring onion? I think I'm going to put these spring onion right here. And then I'm going to turn that off because the next time we need that is going to be for the trout. Okay, and our pasta water or our noodle water is almost ready. I think we can actually pop our noodles in there now because we've got a little steady boil. So these soba noodles, soba is actually the Japanese meaning of buckwheat. And buckwheat is a gluten-free flour, but some soba noodles have a small percentage of wheat in them. So they're not totally gluten-free, but they are a lot healthier than using another sort of just a wheat noodle. And they've got a fantastic flavor. They're much more nutty. So I'm going to add my noodles to my boiling water. And then I'm going to season that water with a little bit of salt. Give that a stir, and then let those cook. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Now you are subbing in for Jason this evening in more than one way.
Yes.
You are our last contender now for the onion chop challenge here at the Cook-alongs. Are you feeling up to it?
I am. I'm feeling up to it. I mean, I'm definitely up against some serious experience here, so bear with me, but I'm definitely up for it.
Well, let's do it, Klaudia. I think it's time for the official onion chop challenge.
Okay, let me get ready. I'm going to clear my station.
Right, Klaudia, you are representing the Potluck Club tonight. Don't let the team down.
I won't.
We've got, I think, 13 seconds is number one on the leaderboard, set by Shanae Sampson from a piece, and I'm going to count you down from 5. Are you ready to go?
I am.
Have you chosen your weapon?
I have. I'm actually, Nick, I don't know if this is going to be the best or the worst decision, but I'm not going to go fancy. I'm not going to go the, ultra chef's knife. I'm going to go for my favorite little weapon, the Victorinox. I don't know if you pronounce it Victorinox or Victorinox. Maybe someone out there knows and they can write it in, but come on.
Well, let's see if you can win it on behalf of the Potluck Club. I'm going to count you down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, chop.
Woo!
5 seconds on the clock.
Yoo!
We're going
It's about
for
speed, hey?
It's all about speed. 10 seconds on the clock.
Woo!
And time. 17 seconds, Klaudia. Congratulations.
But Nick, I have to say, I don't know if I'll be getting a job at the potluck with that size of a chop there. Jason, what do you think?
Now, Klaudia, I don't know if we're going to have to disqualify you for creating
No.
some beautiful onion wedges for the
Yeah.
oven. That's what those look like.
I'm not so proud of myself, I must say. I don't think I'd be getting employed by the potluck club anytime soon with this size, but I gave it my best.
Great effort nonetheless. And yeah, we're going to be taking a quick break now, just for 1 or 2 minutes. Chefs watching at home, keep an eye on your noodles. They will take a few more minutes to cook. But we'll be right back. Pour yourself some of your Devil's Peak if you have, a glass of wine if you still have, and we'll see you in about a minute.
and welcome back. We are in the middle of our delicious Indonesian style noodle dish by Jason Kosmas at the Potluck Club. We are going to get straight back in. Our noodles are on the go. They're almost done. And in the final 30 seconds to a minute, we want to just add our edamame beans. These, we just want to heat through because when you overcook an edamame bean, it gets a slightly sort of shriveled skin. We don't want that. We just want to heat them through with the noodles. And then they are pretty much almost ready to come off, which is fantastic. How is everyone doing at home? Is everyone up to speed? I imagine with the break, it got everyone up to this level.
Well, we've got a message coming through from Jason himself regarding your onion chop challenge. Would you like to hear what he said?
No.
He said, well done. Good for stocks.
Perfect. Good when you're blending. When you're going to blend that soup. Funny. Okay, guys, so now we're going to drain our noodles and edamame.
A reminder for those who are just joining us, we are cooking in support of the Potluck Club and their staff this evening. So don't forget to donate. Any amount can really help them out. Their staff can really use all the support they can get. So back over to you, Klaudia.
Fantastic. So now our edamame beans and our noodles are drained and they are back in the pot. It's now off the heat, but we're just going to keep the lid on to keep them nice and warm. And now we are basically ready to do the main act, which is the trout. So let's get these trout, these beauties here, and let's just take them off the paper towel and discard that. And now what we want to do, I mean, look at this beautiful color, it's just amazing. We want to score the skin of the trout, and this basically just helps with the crispiness. And it also obviously just looks so fancy. So we want to basically take a nice sharp knife, the sharper the better, not serrated, smooth blade, and just about 2 centimeters or 1 to 2 centimeters apart, we just want to give a light score. We don't want to go through to the flesh, we just want to get the skin. So we're just scoring. I think this knife could even be a bit sharper, but anyway, that's great. So we have got our trout ready. Now we want to put our pan on a nice medium heat because we want to really get some good caramelization and color on the skin and really crisp it up. We're going to use our favorite, a little bit of olive oil. Olive oil or all oil actually increases when it's heated, so you need often much less than what you think. And then it obviously helps with the meal not being too sort of greasy. But this, as it goes, is a very healthy and delicious number.
Is this the kind of dish people can remake at home with something like chicken?
Definitely. I mean, chicken would work perfectly with this dish. You would treat it in the same way, but obviously you would cook it through. Whereas now we're going to leave a bit of sort of raw pink meat in the salmon and in the trout. But with the chicken, obviously you would cook it all the way through. And if you're choosing your chicken and you haven't bought it already, go for a chicken breast with skin. So you can, again, sort of make that skin nice and sort of caramelized and crispy. And that'll add lovely texture and flavor to your dish. Okay, so that's feeling nice and hot. You want to hear, yes, a light sear when we pop in that trout. Gosh, Claudia, it's trout, not salmon. Okay. Ha! Okay, and that is ready and that is going. So now we're going to leave that there for about maybe 2 to 3 minutes, just for that skin to get lovely and brown. Then we're going to flip it and we're just going to seal it on the other side for about 30 seconds to a minute. If you prefer your trout to be cooked all the way through, then just leave it on the pan for another minute or so. It's completely your preference.
Now, UCOOK, I know we love using a wonderfully fresh and sustainable piece of trout, but is there any other fish you could use maybe for this dish, if not trout or chicken?
I mean, you could really use any fish. Even a white fish would be beautiful with this dish. I think the perk, though, is having that skin, so you can get that caramelization and that sort of that extra flavor. But yes, I mean, this dish is extremely versatile with the protein or the animal protein you choose to put on top of it.
We've got a question coming through from Matthew, who would like to know if you could only eat one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I think it would have to be a sandwich. I think a sandwich is, when I had my first sandwich, it just crept into my heart, and I just, since that, a sandwich is everything. And I mean, sandwich also does, it's very broad, you know. There are many things that fit into the world of the sandwich, like the burger or the hot dog. So I think it's quite a broad choice, even though it is quite simple.
Especially with some good bread.
Oh, exactly, Nick. So let's season the flesh side of our trout. Just with a bit of salt. And then we are going to get our lemon ready, because as soon as we flip it, we're going to add some fresh lemon juice to the pan. And that'll add great flavor, that citrus boost, and then also gives a nice sort of spur of smoke, which is nice and dramatic. Always good for a bit of drama in the kitchen. Let's not use your hands, Klaudia. Let's use this. Still needs a bit longer.
Got another question coming through from Chantel, who would like to know, what is the one chef's tip that you can't live without?
What is the one chef's tip?
That you can't live without.
Can't live without. Oh. I think it's seasoning your ingredients. I think when you're building a dish and you forget to season as you go, and you forget to sort of really cherish your ingredients as you go, then your end result isn't going to be as celebrated and as sort of well seasoned, I guess. And I mean, even if you just take broccoli, for example, and you roast it or you char it, and then you season it well with lemon juice and olive oil and salt, then, you know, you're halfway there. Here we've got, I think I could still do with it a little bit more. Almost there. Then we've got our slaw ready, and our slaw is obviously freshly cut carrot and red cabbage, which we'll just throw through the noodles. We don't want to cook our slaw because we still want it to have that crunch. Okay, I think we're there. We've got a lovely light golden color on the trout. And now we are going to add our lemon. Just a wedge per fillet, I think, is perfect. But it's up to you. Some palates love citrus, some palates don't. So your taste is really what will govern you with cooking, and will help you make those decisions. So tasting as you go is your greatest asset. Okay, so now we're going to take these off. They'll still be nice and pink in the middle, which is what we're after. Then we're going to set aside our pan and turn off our heat. Okay, we are ready to add the slaw to the noodle pot. So let's give that a go. We can take our tongs and just stir that through. Now, I know this isn't part of the recipe, but Jason isn't with us right now, and so we're just going to have a little bit of creative freedom. Sorry, Jason. I'm just going to add a little bit of the sauce. Don't come and haunt me. To the noodles, just to bring the flavor through into the sort of base of the dish. Hope that's okay. And then we can stir that through. And then now would be a great time when you're at home and you're cooking this dish to taste your noodles, add some more lemon if you feel like it needs it, add some salt, but just taste before you add salt because that sauce will already be quite salty. So let's move this aside, just here or here actually is perfect. And let's get ready to plate up. So it's always nice when you plate up to clear your section. Give it a little rub down and get your bowls ready. And so we're going to start with the base of the noodles, and then we're going to layer up all of our goodies. So first, let's get our noodles down. Tongs are great in plating noodles because you can sort of get some height onto your dish, which is what you want. A little bit more. There we go. Okay, fantastic. This looks like a nice, generous portion size too, which is wonderful. Then we're going to take our trout. We're going to lay that just on the side, so it sort of rests on the pile of noodles. Then we're going to take our sauce, and we're going to spoon that over. And again, you can do as much sauce as you like. It's completely, you're eating it at the end of the day, so you've got to love it. Then we're going to take our charred spring onions, pop those on top for a little green boost. Our lovely fresh mint leaves, a lemon wedge, so you can sort of season it as you go. And then lastly, the best, the beautiful sesame sprinkle, which will just give that sort of very subtle crunch to your dish. And voila, here we go.
Klaudia, this looks absolutely incredible. We've got a comment here from Lapo Magni, who says, "Ciao, Klaudia, greetings from Sicily."
Ciao, Lapo. Big love to you. Miss you.
Klaudia, this dish looks absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for walking us through, for stepping in for Jason. I'm sure he's proud watching at home. Anything you'd like to say to our home chefs?
I would just like to say thank you for joining, and obviously the hospitality industry is really struggling, so any bit that we can do will not go unnoticed. And I really hope to eat at the potluck again in the near future. And most importantly, I would love for us all to meet Nick, the face behind the voice, who's guided us through all of these cook-alongs, and there have been a few, and they've all been as great as each other, and it's also thanks to him. So Nick, please come and show yourself.
Hi, Klaudia. Thanks so much. Not sure if I was camera ready, but safety first. To everyone watching at home, thank you so much for joining our UCOOK for Restaurants campaign. It truly has been an honor to help support restaurants where we can. And before we get stuck into these incredible dishes that Klaudia has prepared, on behalf of the Potluck Club, I want to say a big thank you to everyone at home, and keep supporting restaurants wherever, whenever, and however you can. Stay home and stay safe, and thank you so much.
I'm hoping you all enjoyed my trout dish tonight. I tried to make it as simple and fun as possible for all of you to do at home. Please remember to donate, guys. It means everything to us and for the staff currently working at the Potluck Club. Unfortunately, we've had to let go of a large part of our team recently due to the current regulations the government put in place due to the pandemic. So anything you guys donate will go back towards all of us that work there currently, and will hopefully help us keep the business alive for as long as possible until we get out of this. So thanks again, and thank you so much for joining me at UCOOK. Cheers.